First, let's start with the prayers. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This sloka, please repeat after me. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excellent work. Now let's get started with the session. Again, a quick reminder, if you have, just look at your screen and please go on mute. So the flow of the story and the session is intact and it's not interrupted. If you have any questions, let's discuss them at the end of the session. And if it gets a little delayed, I'll be happy to wait and answer to my best capacity. So let's keep all the questions to the end. And I did record the session already, so we'll have the recording sometime midweek. So quick recap of what we have done so far. I'm going to run through this quickly because we did the recap last time also. So we started the story with King Shantanu, Ganga Devi, and King Shantanu and Ganga Devi. They had 8 children. The first 7 Ganga sacrificed because of a curse and because the Vasus have to go back. The 8th child, Devavrata, later on named as Bhishma, and on the other side Satyavati and Parashara. Parashara blesses Satyavati with Vyasa, who is the narrator and author of this Mahabharata. And King Shantanu later marries Satyavati, and for that marriage to happen, Devavrata, Bhishma, sacrifices his life and he promises to never get married and to stay a bachelor forever. So King Shantanu and Satyavati, they get married. They had two children, Vichitravirya and Chitrangada. Chitrangada, he was in a battle with a Gandharva who was named as Chitrangada, and he dies in that battle. Vichitravirya gets married to Ambika and Ambalika, and with Vyasa's blessings, Vichitravirya, Ambika, they give birth to Dhritarashtra, who is a blind person, and with Ambalika gives birth to Pandu, and Dhritarashtra gets married to Gandhari. With blessings of Bhishma, he sets up that alliance because he knows that Gandhari is blessed by Lord Shiva to have 100 children. And Pandu marries Kunti and Madri. Kunti gets a blessing from a sage to call upon any god and to give birth to a child, to get a child as a gift. So before getting married to Pandu, she gives birth to Karna, or she gets a baby from Lord Surya Bhagavan, the sun god, and that is Karna. That is before marriage. And after the marriage is done, Pandu, he gets a curse because of a hunting incident. You all remember that. And because of the blessings of Yamadharmaraja, Kunti gives birth to Yudhishthira, also known as Dharmaraj. And with blessings of Vayudeva, wind god, Kunti gives birth to Bhima, who is very, very strong, physically strong. And with the blessings of Indra, Kunti gives birth to Arjuna. With the blessings of Ashwini gods, Madri gives birth to Nakula and Sahadeva, twins. And on the other side, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they have 100 children, 100 Duryodhana being the eldest, and 90 followed by 99 brothers, and one sister, Dushala. And all these Kauravas, the 100 brothers, they are called Kauravas. And because these 5 brothers, the sons of Madri and Kunti, because they are sons of Pandu, they are called Pandavas. So that is how we will be referring them. When I say Pandavas, it is the 5 brothers. When I say Kauravas, it will be the 100 brothers of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So all the kids, they grow up. Last week we introduced few more very important characters in the story. Krupacharya, he is the royal teacher of all the sons of Pandu and Dhritarashtra. He was teaching them the scriptures, battle, everything, battle techniques, war techniques, everything. And his sister Krupi, they have the same name. She marries Drona. Dronacharya, when he was a child, Dronacharya was in the same class as King Drupada. After marriage, Drona and Krupi, they were very poor, so he wanted to go ask for help from his childhood friend Drupada. And Drona goes to his kingdom, Panchala kingdom, and he asks for his help. But instead of helping his friend Dronacharya gets insulted by his friend Drupada, and he gets kicked out of the kingdom. And while coming back from the kingdom after getting that insult, he meets the kids and he helps them bring the ball out of a well, and they immediately recognize his skills and they understand that he is the student of Parashurama. So they go tell Bhishmacharya, and Bhishma immediately appoints him as the teacher for all the Kauravas and Pandavas. So they all learn under his supervision. They get all kinds of skills, they get all kinds of subject matter expertise, everything, and they become big and they learn everything, all the war techniques. Out of all his students, Arjuna stands out as the best warrior with his skills in archery. And in the display of all their strengths in that particular event, Karna gets introduced too. He comes to display his power also, and immediately Duryodhana realizes and understands the opportunity to have somebody on his side who has equal skills in archery as Arjuna. So he immediately appoints him as the king of a small kingdom, and then he makes him his friend, and they become friends forever. So that is where we stop the story. That is the quick recap of what we have done so far. So let's get started with the session of this week. So after the display of education, all the education is complete. After the Pandavas and Kauravas, they complete their training under Guru Dronacharya. So it was time for them to offer their Guru Dakshina. Guru Dakshina is a gift to their teacher as a mark of respect and gratitude. That is the tradition of giving a gift, because it's not like a payment or anything, but it is a gift. It is out of gratitude. They offer gifts to the Guru. So they go and ask, what Guru Dakshina do you want? You've been a great teacher to us. You've sacrificed everything and your time and your expertise, everything, and you gave us this knowledge. What can we do for you? Immediately Drona, he remembered the old insult from his childhood friend, King Drupada. So he saw this chance as an opportunity to settle the score with Drupada. Now he has in front of him the great warriors, both Kauravas and Pandavas. They're the great warriors. So what better opportunity to get revenge against Drupada? So he asks them to go and battle with Drupada. Drona and Drupada, remember the story, right? So when Drona wanted help, he goes to Drupada and asks for help, and he gets insulted. So from that day, Drona, he vowed to teach Drupada a lesson to get the revenge against him. So when the students asked him what he wanted, Drona, he asked them to bring Drupada, defeat him in battle, and bring Drupada to him alive. And not to kill him, because again, they're friends, right? He wanted just revenge. He wanted to show what his power is, what his capability is. So first, Duryodhana and his brothers and Karna from the Kaurava side, along with all the armies and everybody, they go to capture Drupada. They attacked the Panchala kingdom with great pride and with great strength, but Drupada was not a normal king. He was a great warrior too. If you remember, he got trained from the same person as Drona. They all both went to the same teacher, that is Drona's dad, the father, Bharadwaja. So he is also a mighty warrior, and his army was very, very strong. He was trained and he was very skillful warrior. So he easily defeated Duryodhana, Karna and other Kauravas in the first drive. When Duryodhana and his brothers went to battle against Drupada, he easily defeated them and he drove them from his kingdom. Then the Pandavas, they decided to face Drupada. So that is they have like good skill set and ultimate powers, right? If you take Arjuna with his archery skills, the Bhima with his physical power, so they took the army and they went to battle against Drupada. The five brothers, they fought bravely, defeating Drupada's soldiers one by one and capturing everything. Finally, Arjuna stood face to face with King Drupada. They both duelled, they both battled in archery, and with unmatched skills in archery, Arjuna, he defeated Drupada and brought him down. And the king, he had no other choice than to surrender. So Arjuna quickly tied Drupada with ropes and he brought him before their teacher Dronacharya. That's what he wanted, right? He wanted somebody to defeat him and bring him in front of him alive. So seeing his old friend bound and helpless, that's what Drona wanted. He wanted to show his superiority, to show his power. So Drona smiled and he said few things like, oh, hey, do you remember your words, Drupada? I came for help to you and you insulted me. You said friendship can only exist between equals, and now look where I am and where you are. We were never equals. We are not equal now. You are in front of me bound and you are asking for my mercy now. But again, that's a very small payback that Drona wanted, something to show his power. He immediately excused him, he forgave him, and he said, I'm not going to kill you, I'm not going to, because they defeated him in the battle. Technically, Pandavas, they get the kingdom. That's what a battle is for, right? You battle for something. But he said, Dronacharya said, I'm not even going to take your kingdom, even though I am entitled to it now because of my victory. I'm going to forgive you, I'm going to send you back, and I'm going to let you live with this shame. So he said, now you may go, I'm going to forgive you. So that is big of Drupada to Dronacharya to forgive him. But Drupada, he did not see it that way. He felt humiliated. So his heart burned with like anger, sorrow and revenge. He could not forget his defeat and the insult before his people. So he decided, he consulted with his priests and chiefs, royal chiefs, everybody, and he decided to do a yaga. So yaga is the sacred fire ritual. They do it for different reasons. And Drona, he did it for a very specific purpose. Drupada, he did the yaga for a very specific purpose. He wanted a son who could defeat Drona one day. And he wanted a daughter who could marry Arjuna. So he was so impressed with Arjuna and his battle techniques and everything. He wanted a daughter that could marry Arjuna one day, and a son that could defeat or kill Drona. So he wants revenge now. And the fire sacrifice began, and the priests were chanting the powerful mantras. So the basic concept of a yaga is the fire invokes the gods. The fire, all the sacrifice, all whatever offerings are done, they're done into the fire. And the fire god takes those offerings and gives them to the specified god. And in return, the gods bless with whoever is performing that yaga. So that is the basic concept. So the powerful mantras are being chanted, and from that blazing fire, so the gods were impressed by the yaga. So from that blazing fire, from the sacrifice, emerged a mighty warrior. So because he was not a small child or a baby. This is a God's gift, God's blessing. So as he came out of the fire, he was a young man by then. Well, he was named as Drishtadyumna. He was destined to destroy or defeat Drona. So that is the blessings. He was born with that blessings. Then they continued the yaga. So remember, he wanted two things. One is a son who could defeat Drona. Another is a daughter who could marry Arjuna. So they continued the yaga. And from the fire rose a beautiful woman. And the gods impressed, the gods' blessings, with her blessings of the gods and with the blessings of the powerful mantra and the sacrifice. She was so beautiful and she was so radiant and she was so lovely. Everybody admired her beauty, and everybody, again, she's not like a baby. She was a young woman when she came out of the fire itself. So her complexion, she also had a dark complexion. So she was initially named as Krishna. Remember, in the first session I told you, we'll see 4 Krishnas in this story. We already met one Krishna. We already saw the Krishna as Vedavyasa, Krishna Dvaipayana. And now Draupadi. Arjuna is also named as Krishna. Basically, Krishna means darkness, dark complexion. So because they're all little dark complexion and they have the dark complexion in the skin, they're named as Krishna. Beautiful name. And the Lord Krishna, who didn't come into the story yet, we all know that he's also another Krishna, right? So 4 Krishnas in the story, entire story of Mahabharata. So the beautiful woman, she was named as Krishna, and she was also called as Draupadi because she was the daughter of Drupada, and she's also called as Panchali because she is the princess of Panchala kingdom. So 3 names, we'll be referring to the same person with all the 3 names: Krishna, Draupadi, or Panchali. Now, so the king Drupada was so happy with the outcome of the yaga. He knows that the gods have blessed him with the son that he wanted. It's just a matter of time. Whenever his son meets Dronacharya in the battle, he is going to defeat him. He knew that. And the most wonderful thing is, about the culture and about the traditions and about the teacher-student bond they used to have and bond they have is, Drishtadyumna, he came out of this sacred fire destined to destroy Drona. And he learned all his war skills, battle skills, archery, everything from Drona. So as soon as he came out of the fire, he needed a teacher to learn all those things. Guess where he went to learn all those things? He went to Drona. And Drona knew that this boy was destined, or he was born with the powers, blessings of gods to kill him one day. Still, he did not say no. He said, okay, I'm going to teach you too, along with the other royal kids of the royal families. I'm going to teach you too. And he trained him in all those skills. So the days are going by, and everybody is happy with the where they were. Pandavas were happy with in Hastinapura. Kauravas were happy that things are going good. And then suddenly, after this great victory against Drupada, right, the Pandavas, they returned to Hastinapura with honor. So Drona, he announced that Arjuna is always his favorite student and he is the best among all the warriors. Now, first Duryodhana, Karna and their team went and they lost. And Arjuna, along with Bhima and Pandavas, they won. So everybody started talking about the greatness of Arjuna, greatness of Pandavas. And Dronacharya also was very happy. He was so pleased with Arjuna for helping him fulfill his long-held revenge against King Drupada. So filled with pride and affection for his beloved student, he blessed Arjuna and gave him all the powerful astras he got from Parashurama. So Parashurama, remember, he is the 6th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and he was the warrior who went around the world 21 times and killed or defeated all the kings who stood against him. So he had lots and lots of powerful astras, which are weapons, magical, mystical weapons. And Dronacharya, now he gave those weapons that he got from Parashurama to Arjuna as a return gift for seeking his revenge on behalf of him. So now everybody knows that Pandavas are getting stronger by the day. Then the elders of Hastinapura, they decided it is time to appoint somebody as the Yuvaraja. Yuvaraja means who is going to be the successor of the kingdom. And as per the rules, the eldest should get that. And the eldest is, among the Kauravas and Pandavas, is Yudhishthira, or the Dharmaraja. We call him Dharmaraja. So the elders, Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya, Krupacharya, they all said he should be. And Vidura, that Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira, should get the Yuvaraja post or the next in line successor post. So even though Dhritarashtra was not happy with that decision, because he's always favoring his son Duryodhana, he wanted the entire kingdom to be ruled by Duryodhana. But because of the pressure, because of the advice from all the elders and the ministers and also the people of Hastinapura, he had to give in, and he appointed Yudhishthira as the Yuvaraja. He is as the next successor of the kingdom. So that news, everybody was happy to hear that news. It brought great joy to the people, because everybody knew how well learned and good the Pandavas are. So they knew that the kingdom will be in great position. Everybody will be happy if the Dharmaraja Yudhishthira ruled the kingdom. So they were all happy. But Duryodhana, he was very angry, jealous, and he was frustrated. He wanted to be not only the king, he didn't even want to share any of the part of the kingdom with Pandavas. He wanted the entire kingdom for himself. Now, instead of getting the kingdom, Yudhishthira is named as the successor. So he could not bear to see the Pandavas getting all that respect and being admired by everyone. His mind filled with envy, he began to plot against them. Remember, even as a child, even as a young person, young man, young student, he always plotted against Pandavas. He didn't even hesitate to kill his own brothers for his self motivated thoughts and what he wanted for himself, selfishness. So one day his uncle, the Shakuni, and the team, Duryodhana, Dussasana, and Karna, they all started planning, and they devised an evil plan. They thought that Duryodhana should send Pandavas somewhere far away, pretending that it was a pilgrimage or a peace mission, and have them quietly killed there. So nobody would get suspicion, because they'll be far away someplace, and Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they'll all be in Hastinapura. They can just pretend like they don't know what happened, right? Duryodhana liked that plan, and he went to his father. But they have to be sent away with a reason. They have to be convinced why they have to go away and where they have to go and all those things. So he went to his father. He explained the plan to Dhritarashtra, and he asked for his help. Dhritarashtra, Pandu was his brother. He always took care of his Dhritarashtra and always treated him with respect. His sons are also like his sons. Instead of showing the love and instead of showing the respect and the affection for them, he always wanted Duryodhana to win, and he always wanted everything to belong to Duryodhana. So he liked the plan, and he agreed to help him. So the king knew, he pretended that it was a good idea that Pandavas to go on a pilgrimage and visit holy rivers and offer homage to their late father, King Pandu. So he wanted to say as if it's a good idea for them to go on a pilgrimage, visit all these temples and offer the homage and do sacrifices, do yagas and yajnas for King Pandu. King Pandu died, right? So to help his soul rest in peace, they do all these prayers and special pujas. So he wanted them to go on the pilgrimage and do all of that. When Dhritarashtra spoke kindly and with love, and he pretended like this is all for their good and for King Pandu's good. So when he spoke so kindly and advised them to go, Pandavas, they always respect elders, especially Dhritarashtra. They treat him like their own father. So they immediately agreed. They prepared for the journey, and they wanted to take their mother Kunti also along with them, because they were going to visit all these temples. So she also prepared for the journey to go along with the Pandavas. The people of the kingdom and everybody, they wished them well. Nobody knew that Duryodhana is plotting something against them. So they all thought that they're going on a happy trip, happy pilgrimaging trip. So they all wished them happy travels, safe travels, and wished them to have a great trip, not knowing what danger awaited them. So, however, Vidura, Bhishma, and Drona, they suspected something was wrong. They were very learned. They have been seeing Dhritarashtra for so long, so they know that Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they must be plotting something, because the advice came from Dhritarashtra also, right? So they knew Duryodhana's jealous nature, and they wanted to warn Pandavas. So they quietly went to Pandavas, and Vidura, he explained to Pandavas to be very careful on the trip with two things. One is poison and the second is fires during their travel. So he gave all the recommendations, gave the advice to Dharmaraja, and he said, be very careful with what you are eating, and also be very careful around things that are flammable. Meanwhile, Duryodhana, he was very happy that his plan is working, and he immediately sent his men ahead of Pandavas to go quickly and to construct a beautiful house for Pandavas to stay on the banks of river Ganga, near all the temples and all. So he made all the arrangements. He wanted it to look like a royal guest house, but it was not an ordinary house. It was made of wax, oil, dry wood, all the materials that could easily catch fire. So that is the overall, the big plan. The big picture is to send them away, make them stay in a house which can catch fire easily and kill them. That was Duryodhana's plan. The outside of the house was covered with mud, paint, and all these decorative items. Nobody would get any suspicion that inside those walls were all these flammable, easily things that would easily catch fire. So nobody would get any suspicion. When the Pandavas reached the Varanavrata, where the house is, they were welcomed, they were greeted warmly, and they were shown to their new house. They knew that the house was guest house of Dhritarashtra, so they didn't get any suspicion, because that's what the kings do. They send people ahead of them even in battles. There will be teams that go ahead of the king and the ministers, and they set up everything, all the arrangements for food, stay, and everything, while the important people, they come behind, and so that they don't have to wait for all these arrangements. So when they went in, they looked at the house. It looked grand, it looked comfortable, but as soon as Yudhishthira stepped in, Dharmaraja stepped in, he felt something was different and something was strange. The air inside the house, it smelled of oil and wax. He immediately understood that it was a trap, and that house was a dangerous place to stay. But he didn't want to give it out, or he didn't want the others to know that he had this suspicion. He knows that he has to be careful, but he didn't want to say, oh no, we are not going to stay here. So just to go along with the plan and to devise a counter plan, he said, okay, let's just stay here. Meanwhile, Vidura, he sent a messenger to Yudhishthira to meet Pandavas in Varanavrata. He met the messenger that Vidura sent. He met Yudhishthira quietly and told him about the Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana's plan, and told him that the house was very easy, that it's made with material that could easily catch fire. He said what his plan, Vidura's plan to counter this is to build a tunnel, to dig a deep tunnel under the house. So whenever the house catches the fire, the Pandavas can go into the tunnel and they can get out of the house easily. And he started digging the tunnel, the messenger that Vidura sent, and within a few days he dug a deep tunnel from under the house into the forest. So as soon as they get into the tunnel under the house, from underneath they can go away from Varanavrata into the nearby forest. So for many days, he worked on it secretly. He dug the tunnel so that the Pandavas could escape easily. To avoid the suspicion that there is something going on, the tunnel is being dug and all those things, the Pandavas behaved as if nothing was wrong. They went to temples, they visited the villages, they talked to everybody kindly as if everything was normal. But all the while they kept watch and they waited for the right time to escape and to use their counter plan. So far away in Hastinapura, Duryodhana's men were also waiting for the perfect time to set fire to the wax house and to end the Pandavas. They didn't want to do it right away because that will raise a lot of suspicions. So they were waiting as things were going. After a month or so, one fine day, fire accidents happen, they have no idea kind of thing. So they were waiting for that right day. They did not know that the Pandavas are already devising a plan, and they did not know that this tunnel is being dug for their escape. So the day finally, Yudhishthira, he realized that the day has come and it's about time that they leave that place. And it's not safe for them anymore, because if they are careless and if they are not very attentive, Duryodhana's men can put fire to that house anytime and they may not have enough time to escape. So what he realized is, instead of waiting for Duryodhana's men to set fire to the house, they were ready, they were prepared. He himself set fire to that house, and all the 5 Pandavas along with Kunti, they went into the tunnel and they closed the tunnel on top of this thing, and they started going into the forest. And through the secret way, they walked for a lot of time, for days together, because it's a long tunnel that led to the forest. And they were out of the danger. Meanwhile, the house caught fire, and everybody thought that Yudhishthira, along with other Pandavas and Kunti, they were all in the house, and they all died in the house. Duryodhana's messenger who lived in that house, Duryodhana also sent a messenger. He was giving him instructions for the right time to set fire to the house. He did not see this coming, so he was sleeping in the house. He didn't know that Yudhishthira was going to do this. He got caught in the fire and he died. He couldn't escape. So by morning, this happened at night, they escaped, the messenger died in the house. By morning, the house was completely burned to ashes. The villagers ran, they tried to help, they tried to go in to see and rescue anybody, but the flames were too big, so they could not go in to help anybody. The entire house, it collapsed. Somebody's on the screen. If you can refrain, please. I don't know how to stop it, but whoever is playing with the screen, if you can refrain from doing so, it is distracting and it'll be disturbing for others also. Thank you. So Duryodhana's messenger who lived in that house, he did not escape, and the villagers could not save anybody, and the fire collapsed the entire house. So, and people thought that Pandavas and Kunti were still inside the house. Soon the news spread everywhere, and the Pandavas died in that house, and they were all sad. Everybody loved Pandavas, right? So they were all sad, and they were expressing their grief. The news also reached Hastinapura. Dhritarashtra, he knew this was coming. He was the one who devised this entire plan, but he pretended like he was very sad about what happened. So he held his head and he pretended to weep. Duryodhana and his brothers, they also cried loudly, just to pretend. But inside, they were very happy that their plans succeeded. And by the time Vidura's messenger, he had returned from Varnavrata. He told Vidura that their plan also was successful, but he couldn't tell to everybody, oh, this is Vidura's plan, right? So he told him that Pandavas had escaped and they reached the forest safely. So Bhishma, Drona and Vidura, they were relieved, but they had to hide their joy. They also were acted like they were all sad, they were grief stricken for this thing to be happening to Pandavas. So everybody was pretending. The court echoed with sounds of pretend mourning and false tears. Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, they were pretending on their end, and the good people, Drona, Vidura and Dronacharya, they were also pretending to be sad, knowing that Pandavas are safe. So meanwhile, far away from all this drama of the court, Pandavas, they walked into the dense forest through the tunnel, and after a while, they heard the sounds of the animals and all the dangerous things, and it was night when they went into the forest. But they're all warriors, so they didn't worry about a thing. It was very tiring journey. They walked for long time, so all of them were exhausted. So they stopped in a small area where there were trees and nice grass, soft grass, and they lied down and they slept. Only Bhima, he remained awake and to watch and to guard them. There are animals, there are other bee creatures there, so he stayed alert and watched so that no danger will come near his family. In that forest, very close to where the Pandavas and Kunti were sleeping, there lived a fearsome demon named Hidimbasura. He was very dangerous, and he hungered. He ate anything, all the animals, whatever he could get his hands on, even human flesh. His sister Hidimbi also lived with him, so they both smell the presence of humans, and apparently they really enjoy human flesh, and that's what they do. So immediately Hidimbasura, he was very happy to see humans, and he laughed and said, our next meal is here, Hidimbi. You go get them, you can kill them, cook, and be ready for dinner. We'll devour them, and we will enjoy a nice meal. Hidimbi, so they're used to this. Maybe that's why she took the instructions. She immediately went to nearby where they were sleeping to kill them and to follow the instructions given by Hidimbasura. When he reached the place, and she saw that the Pandavas were sleeping, and then she saw the mighty Bhima standing guard for the Pandavas. As soon as she saw him, she fell in love with him. She forgot why she came. She forgot she was supposed to kill them. She forgot about her hunger. She forgot about her brother's command. Her heart was filled with love for Bhima, and she used her magical powers to change her form into a very gentle and beautiful young woman. And she went to Bhima and she softly asked him to go away with him and marry her. She said, my brother is very powerful. I can't save everybody, but I can save you. If you marry me, he'll never come near you. He will never harm you. So marry me, and then we'll go to my brother and we'll. So Bhima, he is very strong. He doesn't get scared by these things. So okay, if your brother is that strong, it's not a big deal for me. I can fight him, but I'm not going to marry you, and I'm not going to let him come anywhere near my family. And they both discussed, they both argued, and finally Hidimbasura, he grew angry. He was waiting for his meal. He wondered what was happening with his sister and the task that he assigned her. So he rushed. He saw them both talking and he was very angry. He was frustrated. Then he saw Hidimba standing near Bhima, not doing what she was asked to. So he immediately started attacking Bhima. So Bhima and Hidimbasura, they fought with great power, and they uprooted the trees, and they took big boulders and they threw boulders on each other, and they wrestled. They threw each other on the ground. They struck mighty blows against each other. So both of them were very strong. And Bhima, he kept up with it. He loves the battles, right? He was so strong. He's always looking for these battles. He's always looking for equal opponents to show his power. So he uprooted the trees and he started fighting with him. He started enjoying the whole battle. Meanwhile, all that sound, Pandavas and Kunti, their mother, they woke up. They saw the battle and they saw the young lady nearby. Then they asked, what is this? What is happening? And Hidimbi, she told them everything. And she confessed that why she came and who they were and why the battle was happening. Immediately, Arjuna realized that as in at night, demons, they grow stronger at night. They have more powers at night because they're called nisacharas. They're the beings of night. So he immediately realized that Bhima is enjoying the battle and he's not finishing it off. He immediately ran to Bhima and he reminded him that demons grow stronger at night and to finish him off. So Bhima understood Arjuna's instructions. He nodded his head. He gathered all the strength and he lifted Hidimbasura high into the air, and he brought him down with such force that he snapped the backbone of Hidimbasura and he killed him with one mighty blow. And the demon's Hidimbasura's life ended right there. And then after that, Hidimbi, she started talking to Kunti and she started explaining to Dharmaraja and everybody why she came and what she was intending to do, and she expressed her love for Bhima. And then what happens once Kunti knew about it, and what happens whether they get married or not, we will see in the next episode. That is all for the story part of this session, and we will continue this next week. What happens with Hidimba, and then what happens to Pandavas after going to the forest, and where they go from there. Do they go back to Hastinapura, or are they in hiding? We will see all of that in the next episode. So that will be the story part for today. And we are doing this new session where we discuss one of our traditions and we see why we do what we do. So for today's session, we are going to talk about why we fold our hands and say namaste when we meet somebody. That is our normal greeting. Why we do that, and what is the tradition, what is the meaning behind it. So in our culture, in Hindus, in our Sanatana Dharma culture, we greet not by saying a hello, not by giving a hug, but doing namaste. How do we do it? We bring our palms together in front of our chest with fingers pointing upwards and thumb close to our heart. It is called Anjali Mudra. Anjali is giving respect to somebody. And then we close our eyes, or we look at the person softly, or the deity or the god. We look at the person in front of us, and then we say namaste. So that is the whole process, right? So it is not just a knee greeting. It is just not a mere greeting what we do in namaste. It is a way of seeing God in everyone. The word comes from namaha plus te. The put together is namaste. Namaha means I bow. Te means to you. So when we say namaste, we are really saying the divine in me, the God in me bows to the divine in you, which is the God in you. It teaches us two deep lessons when we do that. The first is about our emotions. When we meet a person, when we meet people, we often come across some kind of emotion, whether it is happiness, anger, love, like, dislike, whatever it is. There is some emotion when we meet somebody. But if we learn to see the divine spark within everyone, these emotions calm down and we begin to live with peace and understanding. The second lesson is about ego. To bow and to say namaste, we must let go of our pride and we see goodness in others, the divinity in others. So it helps us to stay humble, grounded, and full of respect. So those are the two great things that we get out of doing a namaste. First is control over emotions. The second one is staying humble. We'll learn to do that. So I'll tell you a small story of like what Swami Vivekananda told about Namaste. So Swami Vivekananda, he was a great Hindu spiritual teacher who inspired people throughout the world to live with strength and faith and service to humanity. He traveled around the world sharing his wisdom of India's scriptures, the Sanatana Dharma, the philosophy of life, and how these scriptures help us find the meaning of life. So one time a small child came to him and asked, why do we put our hands together and bow when we meet somebody? What is namaste? So then the Swami Vivekananda, he said, when we join our palms, it shows that our mind and heart comes together, and it comes together in respect, and we stay away from touch. We don't touch the other person. It's the way of showing love and respect without any selfishness, and that is why we bow to others, and also we remember that God is everywhere and in everyone. When you're able to see that God in others, that means you've reached a great level in life. So the boy immediately understood the meaning of it, and he smiled to Swamiji and he did namaste. So why I bring this up, this story is, this week if you get a chance, look up Swami Vivekananda. It won't take long, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He is one of the greatest gurus. He spread the stories and he spread the philosophy of life as taught in our Hindu scriptures and in Sanatana Dharma, and we all should know who he is and what he has done for our culture. So if you have time, when you have time this week, look him up in Google and see some of the great accomplishments that he has done. So that is why we do namaste, and that is the reason of what the procedure is for doing namaste, and the reason behind why we do namaste. So that is the segment where we learn about one of our traditions and the meaning of it. With that, we are going to conclude that segment also, and we are going to do the Mangala Shasanam, which is our final segment. Mangala Parayirmadacharya Purogamais Sarvaischa Purvairacharyais Satkrudayastu Mangalam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.